My name is Andy, and I'm here to tell you that you ain't free. The person in your future was always going to be.
Yeah, but you're not free. Free will doesn't exist, whether you believe in God or not. I'll go over it really quickly. There's a bunch more videos I'll link in the description if you really want a more in-depth explanation of why free will doesn't exist. But maybe the simplest way to think of it, first, not in the context of a God, just natural laws. First, think of it like this. Anything that you do is because anything that you do consciously, okay? Obviously, if it's an unconscious action, that's not free will, right? So anything you do consciously is because of the state of your brain. And your brain is a physical thing that follows physical laws. And things happen in your brain for reasons. And those reasons have reasons, and those reasons have reasons. And if you go back far enough, it's beyond you. It's beyond you, it's before you, so ultimately anything that you do, especially anything you do consciously, is not actually your choice. It's just a product of, the events that unfold in the universe. Now, if God is in the picture, it's even more difficult. In fact, if God is in the picture, not only do we have determinism, we have predeterminism, because, I guess if the God is omniscient and the God created the universe, which most gods are that, at least monotheistic gods, right? So, for instance, Yahweh is definitely the most popular God. Yahweh is the God of Islam. Yahweh is the God of Christianity, is the God of Judaism, and those are like the three biggest religions. I think I don't know if Judaism is bigger than Hinduism or Buddhism, but anyway, the point is, in Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, the God is an omniscient creator. So he created the universe, he's omniscient. Here's the problem with that. If the God is omniscient, then he knows everything that's going to happen in the universe even before he creates it. And if he changes his mind, well, he knows that he changed his mind, and he always will know exactly what's going to happen in the universe because he's omniscient. So when he creates the universe, he creates it fixed. He creates it absolutely fixed because he already knows what's happening even before he even creates it. So it is absolutely fixed, predetermined, no free will there. So free will doesn't exist. What does this actually mean for us? Nothing, really. Free will not existing really has no bearing on what we decide to do, okay? It does kind of say that decision-making in the first place is kind of a nonsensical term because decisions don't exist if free will doesn't exist. It's just stuff happens in the universe and that's it. But we assume that free will exists, even though we're pretty sure it doesn't. Okay, because we could be wrong, and because we could be wrong, we will assume we are, because free will not existing results in what I call a zero-sum game, and in this particular case, it's effective nihilism. It's not necessarily total nihilism, it's not necessarily totally meaningless if we don't have free will, but effectively, yeah, it is, because if free will doesn't exist, then our actions are maybe not predetermined, but they are determined or randomized outside of our control, and if we don't have control over anything, then there is no effective meaning. There could be meaning outside of that, but there's no effective meaning there at any level, really. You could say, a lot of people like to say, like, maybe there's not ultimate purpose to the universe, but there is, you can have your own small purpose, and that's fine. Like, subjectively, you can have that, but you can feel like you have meaning on a small level. That doesn't make that true, okay? And without free will, it's just, you have nothing without free will. And so we can assume that free will exists to inform our actions. So this kind of thought process actually really applies nicely to a little disagreement between two channels which I really love, Cosmic Skeptic and Rationality Rules. Now these guys are mostly atheist channels, I guess you could say. They do a lot of rebuttals of theist videos and theist arguments. And they have a little disagreement, or maybe it's a quite a big disagreement on morality, specifically whether objective morality exists. So Rationality Rules says yes, objective morality exists. So he's kind of a moral absolutist in that sense. And then Cosmic Skeptic says no, objective morality does not exist. In fact, he actually actively says it does not exist. It's not even I'm unconvinced. It does not exist. Okay. So which side do I agree with? Objective morality exists or objective morality doesn't exist? Well, this is Thoughts in the Crossfire. It's not that simple. I disagree with both of them. So in the truth department, I do agree with Cosmic Skeptic. I don't think that truly objective fundamental morals actually exist. However, I assume they do. I assume they do to inform my actions because I think that without objective morality, you get, again, effective nihilism, where our actions don't actually mean anything. We can feel like they mean something, but they don't actually mean anything in the case that objective morality does not exist. Now, again, I think that objective morality doesn't exist. However, I assume that it does to inform my actions because I could be wrong, and I would rather go with a non-zero-sum game, which is what you have with objective morality. So, essentially, I think there is a best fit answer to any ethical question. So that's moral absolutism versus moral relativism. Moral relativism says there isn't any one answer to an ethical question. An ethical question would be what ought to be done. I guess the ultimate ethical question is what ought to be done. Okay, and so any question of ought or should is an ethical question. And so in a sense, I believe that there is one answer. I believe there is one best fit answer, but I don't think that that's actually objectively true. I just assume that it is to inform my actions. So, thank you so much for watching. I think next time we'll probably talk about what an atheist is, and we'll get to how to be an anti-theist theist, because that's a possible thing, weirdly enough. And yeah, I really do want to get to morality, and I really want to establish a moral basis so that I can then talk about some controversial issues. But believe it or not, finding the meaning of life and finding the best fit objective moral framework is not as easy as just, you do it one week and then it's done. So it's proving to take a little bit longer, right, than a week. So I keep on pushing it back, right? But I guess at some point I'm gonna need to talk about stuff and just accept that maybe I won't have the answers anytime soon. But I do realize that I can't really talk about anything unless I really have a solid foundation for my morality. I can't really talk about anything controversial or even ethical because there's just no basis for it otherwise. I can appeal to your emotions. I can talk about stuff that we kind of just all agree for our various reasons. But that doesn't really hold any weight unless it's grounded in something objective. So anyway, I'm working on it, and hopefully we'll get to that kind of stuff soon, and we can talk about veganism, for instance, which strangely enough I'm on the fence about veganism now. That's super weird. 4 weeks ago that wouldn't have even occurred to me, but now I'm well, shoot, I'm actually on the fence about veganism because there isn't a clear reason why humans would be solely valuable. And so anyway, the point is there's a lot to talk about, and so you should stick around and talk with me about it. Yay. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you next video. Bye.